Hi guys, welcome to Watch Hobbyist channel. So today I've got for you my Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5167, and just following on from my previous in-depth 30-minute huge review, I just wanted to show you sort of how the watch wears on my wrist properly in a video rather than just some wrist shots which don't always give the true sort of feel and look to how a watch wears. And secondly, I also wanted to talk about a few things such as the non-hacking movement. I also mentioned the mirror polish and the finishing. I think there's something like 50 polishing points on this case I've read, and it doesn't surprise me because the quality of the luster of the polish on this watch is incredible. So I'll just go over the specs. So 40mm diameter, nice and small for today's times, but classed as a jumbo because it's bigger than the original. 46.5 from here to here, lug to lug, which is just really nice sort of size, not too long, because that is obviously what sits on top of your wrist, and therefore if it was say out to there, like say a Breitling emergency current one, it would overhang most people's wrists, so it can look very big. The diameter isn't always the sort of the length to look for. You're better off looking for the lug to lug length to know whether it's going to fit you well. We also have a fantastic 8.5mm thickness, so this watch is incredibly thin. So I'll show you a wrist shot now. Just before I do, we've got this incredible clasp which has got my fingerprints all over it, but even after sort of a little bit of wearing, a good week or so of wearing this watch, I think it's 2 weeks now I've had it, I've not managed to mark this at all, and I've not particularly tried not to. It's just that I haven't marked it. It's just so well finished. It just seems to be very clear of any scratches or any damage. It's very good metal, good quality polishing, and it really seems to show. Everything's so perfect as well in terms of the lineup of the two sides of the actual Patek Philippe logo as well. Now this is how the watch wears on my 6.75 inch wrist. Okay, so you can hopefully see how the strap curves really nicely. It's got a bit of a bump there where we have the steel going on of the inside of the clasp, and the clasp allows it to be sort of very comfortable because we obviously have like a sort of curvature going on there, so that really meets the wrist nicely, follows the sort of shape of your wrist. So we have two buttons here, one on this side, one on the other side, identical. If I press it, it basically, if you pressed it again, it would flick the other side off as well, but it sort of ejects the clasp basically, and you just take the watch off your wrist then, but there's no chance of the watch really falling off because it's still got, it's still all tied together with the clasp itself. You can see it wears very sort of shallow on the wrist. This is only 8.5mm tall, so very nice the way it wears, and I've really rarely found such an elegant, classy watch that's in the sports category. I still think it's the most elegant watch I've probably ever owned, and it impresses me every single time I put it on. It weighs only 80 grams, so 80 grams is nothing, and it's actually sometimes hard to remember you've even got the watch on. So you do have to be careful because if you go doing any activities where you could damage it, you sometimes forget that you've actually got it on your wrist. Got the great anti-reflective coating here. As you can see, it's really effective, allows great detail of the dial to be seen. Now the movement inside here is a fantastic movement. It's a 324 it's called. It's got a 45-hour power reserve, really good beat rate, it's nice and accurate. It is missing one feature, and I'm fine with it because the feature I think would add a bit of size to the movement, which would therefore add a bit of size to the watch. I wouldn't want that because the size for me is perfect, and what it's called is hacking. But if we go to unscrew this crown, one thing I didn't mention last time was actually it has I'll start again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's around about 9 or 10 screws or unscrews of the crown basically. So a lot of watches I've ever had have they've only had sort of 3 or 4 turns, so that extra security of knowing how far that crown screws down is really nice. I've never seen such a huge amount of turns on a crown tube before, and it's the same obviously when you go to screw it back in. You've got all these lots of turns and you just feel nice and secure with it. If I then pull the crown out to the first position, I could set the date, so it's got a quick set date, but if I pull it out further, the seconds hand carries on. So at this point a lot of watches would actually stop the seconds hand basically, but this one actually doesn't. So if I pull it out all the way, okay, there is still a way I can stop the seconds, and it's just to basically rewind the time. So if I do that and I hold it, I've stopped the seconds. So what you would do is you would basically go a bit further past the actual time it is, you would let the seconds go a bit further past, and then as you rewind it, you then can accurately set the time, and that does work. Once you've got the knack to it, you know, you can do it. And it's just, I just thought I'd put this out there because I know a lot of people think that you can't do it at all, and I know that that's still a bit of a faff, but actually, believe me, if you're not in a rush and you go to put the watch on, you know, you've not worn it for maybe a few days, it's stopped, and you go to put it on and you go to set the time, it actually makes it sort of a bit more enjoyable in some way, because you sort of interact with the watch. So a bit like like I said in my Speedmaster review a while back, that the fact that you have to wind it pretty much every day, it allows you to interact with the watch more and you enjoy it more. And funnily enough, I've still got my Speedmaster, you know, because I enjoy that watch. You know, it's not just a thing on your wrist, it's something that you have to sort of do things with and maintain, and the accuracy on this watch has also been really, really good. So that's just a quicker look at the Patek Philippe Aquanaut. I have got plenty more reviews coming shortly, including certainly one watch which is quite sought after at the moment, well, 2 watches in fact, and I will bring you more reviews as time goes on. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again soon.